guys? Hope everyone's doing alright. Yeah, so I ended up not streaming on the weekend, as per usual at this point, to be honest. So in terms of what we'll be doing today, I'm not entirely sure, to be completely honest with you guys. I'm probably gonna do some brickwork maybe, because I kind of want to get the building going. I feel like the environment is a bit that I'm not sure on the most right now. Like the creature stuff, sure, we can do a bit, but I'm not entirely set on how I'm going to handle the environment. So I kind of want to do a little bit of that. But yeah, one sec. There we go. Yeah, so let me just stop that music. I looked at getting some music in the background, but it's just like every copyright free playlist I could find had at least one person comment saying that they got taken down for it. Make it do a flip fuck off, Nick. But yeah, so in terms of where we're up to so far, got a render Modesta that's finished. So this is obviously painted over, but not much of it's changed. So yeah, obviously we started work on the creature in the bottom right there. We have to do fur for him at some point, probably not today. We've got these two creatures back here which we need to do. Kind of interested in doing this guy maybe, because he doesn't need sculpting, he's just two eye sockets, well, two eye stalks, two eyeballs, which you don't really need to sculpt, and some groom coming out of the pipe. This guy's pretty simple as well, I could do him without ZBrush really. And then we've got the guy up here, which I'm not entirely set on how I want to do that. I was thinking like really stick like fur that's aggressively straight, but not entirely settled on that yet. So we'll see. But that's the most recent render with a little bit of painting over. Also, there's a feather coming through his mask. Oh no, it's bending around it. But yeah, so might do a little bit of work just kind of getting the bricks in place. I do need to get the reference up for that because I'm still not entirely settled on exactly what I'm doing. So let's get PureRef open. I'll bring that up to the screen, load, recent, and then that'd be the one. Cool. And then environment stuff is over here. So in terms of what I was looking at most, it was like these really. I kind of want to do something like this, which I'm thinking I could do this in shader, but I'm still not entirely settled what state of disrepair the house is going to be in. So what I might do instead is model each brick, so I can kind of delete them, remove them, and it's not as tedious as you'd think. You just create a cube and duplicate it around. There's not really much to it, as long as you do it layer by layer rather than brick by brick, because fuck that. And then we can just delete whatever bricks we don't want. So I quite like how uneven this is, and I feel like doing that in texture. I could do it, there's nothing stopping me, but I spend all day every day doing texture work, and I kind of want to do something that's more modeling focused. So I'm gonna probably do this manually, and then we can sculpt it later perhaps, we'll see. So yeah, so I guess we'll get started on that. So it's going to be a very slow stream, I guess. Feel free to not watch it. I'm not going to force anyone to sit through watching me place bricks, but one of the reasons of doing these streams is to kind of document everything, so it makes sense to do it on stream. It also motivates me to work. There's no way I'd do this without streaming it. So let's get Maya open. But yeah, so obviously we need to figure out what size bricks we want as well, which is a bit of a hazard. Let's just hide the characters for now. Let's hide the grooms. There you are. Now we can keep mouse temp in there. He's pretty simple as well. Let's remove the kid. Cool, and let's just get that going. Come on, get started. I actually probably had the light as well. Let's go into the lights. Let's turn off box glow. Obviously the monster blocks out most of the stuff up here, but I'm not too worried about modelling that in great detail. There's another light there, but we don't have to worry about him either. And then I guess the monster in here is just a duplicate from somewhere, right? Creepy little guy. Right, so that's our baseline. Do something about that size. So let's get started on placing bricks. Jesus Christ, it's gonna be a fun one. I'm just gonna hide the light group in its entirety. And then nerves curves. So what else can I hide? Cam group. We can hide these curves, can go into the groom group, I guess. So stray hairs group. Let's go to the grooming group. I'll just put it in there. Cool. And then these lights. Where's that one? Oh, that's internal. So let's get those in here and just quickly name them. Oh, let's make them visible. So that one is door light. And that one is sewer light, I guess. Cool. And let's hide that group again. Sorry, just trying to find a place that's comfortable for the keyboard to not be moving around. Cool, so let's create a cube. And just move that. So what general size do we want? I guess the first thing to do is line it up with the edge. There we go. So we can just scale it. Oh, why is that all weird? Object. That's about brick size, right? So what I need to check is like how big these actually are. How big do I want them to be? So let's just quickly get a couple of these placed out. Let's do that instead. Yes, it's a relatively easy thing to do. It's one of those things, like, sometimes I like to think of this sort of stuff as, like, if you show it a beginner, they'll be amazingly impressed. Like, that's the kind of work I like to do sometimes, not because I like to show it to beginners and feel like I'm important, more just because it's surprisingly easy to do, and it's one of those things that like you can be oddly proud of the result, at least in my mentality anyway. So let's just do a quick test render of that. Let's get the just to see what the size is like. So let's get that light group visible, cam group, and just see what that's like. And let's hide that box glow. Feels like an okay size. Does it need to be bigger maybe? I don't think so. But yeah, what we'll do is once we duplicate everything around, so it's just a case of moving them individually to kind of get some variation going and matching them all up on the edges. Yeah, I think that size works well for me. They're a little bit smaller than these planks, which is good, because if they were the same size, that would really fuck with me. Yeah, so let's get going with that then. That's the size that we're happy with. So let's just group all these. The reason I'm grouping them is so that when I duplicate them, they stay within that group, which also makes them easier to select as well, because I could just do that. So hide you, close you down. Cool. And don't really need to worry about instancing, I guess, because they're all identical anyway. So when I do a bevel on everything, they'll work. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about instancing it. So let's just get that wall sorted first. And what I'll have to do as well at some point is kind of move the bricks around so they all match up to the door. So obviously, like, actual bricks will be cut to a certain size. Yeah, so let's just get that going upwards. And we could probably end it there, right? I mean, I could just continue it, I guess. Okay, that's a bit satisfying. So let's get all these guys. Oh, hey Bush, how you doing, man? Long time no speak. That's one wall done. And for now, I'll group them as different walls. So I'm not going to worry about doing it all in one go. Yeah, great to hear after a while. Yeah, likewise, man. I got really confused for a second. Okay, so their thickness is not quite what I need it to be. So if that works, I have to do the same scale to that. So what's the scale? So this guy. Cool. So again, let's get that test render. See if we're still happy with the size. And then what I can do is just start deleting bricks that are in places where I need bricks to not be. In terms of texturing, what I can do to simplify things is give them a UV set. So I can transfer the UVs from the building as one UV set so that the UVs on the individual bricks are overlapping. But I can use that as a texture UV set, so I can just go through and paint like any graffiti or stuff on the walls. I need to do the back wall, don't I? At least for one layer of bricks. Let's kill that. And I'm just going to duplicate the front wall. There we go. Let's group that, call it brick group. So what I can do now is, and one nice thing with doing bricks like this is auto UVs will actually do a remarkably good job. So let's grab all these bricks and merge them into one object. But that's a bad time to do it. Let's delete the bricks we don't need first, which is like all the ones at the back. Cool, so I can delete all those because I literally just need it to come up to the edge of the wall. Don't need anything past that point. And then I guess this wall isn't doing as much harm, right? Like how far is that out of render view? Yeah, it's pretty far. So go to perspective. Can probably get rid of about that much. We can always duplicate them and move them back over if we need to. Cool. So that's that, at least somewhat optimized. Let's just grab this while I'm at it and start getting these placed around. Cool. So currently they're too perfect, which is obviously an issue. So what are we doing? The painful bit, basically. Once I've cleared out the door and once I've cleared out this window, I'll UV them, which I can do with auto UV. The reason I'm saying I can do auto UV is because they're just cubes, so they're already facing perfectly east, west, south, north, you know, all that shit. So auto UVs will just cut each face individually, which is, you know, good enough for one UV set. Also the UV layout will work fine because all I want is just non-repeating patterns. Don't need much for that. And then, yeah, in terms of keeping them as a separate object or not, so there is one advantage to keeping them all separate objects, which is, well, I guess two advantages. The extra control you have, because obviously each one has individually stored transforms, so you can free transformations and all that jazz. But it's also the thing of Arnold can jitter color per object, which if they're all one object, it can't do that. But if they're all separate objects, then I can have each brick get a unique color without actually texturing that. Like, it would just be done for me. So I'll do that. In terms of everything else, let me just put this group into a layer. So let's create a new layer with these. Cool, so I can only select bricks, alright? Cool. So let's just delete everything that's in the way of this door, which is that much. Deselect the ones that come over. Deselect those two. Cool. So there's nothing back there. I need to get rid of that light selection. That's a doorway cleared, and then I'll have to clean that up in a second. Let's just remove these guys one minute. And the window, it's going to be much the same thing. Yeah, I believe those. Cool. So now, to make these actually feel at least somewhat even, I can just go in and select these guys. Go to component mode. Let's get a little bit of variation in there. Then just decide where I want the window to go, which let's say is like there. I can get away with all this stuff at the moment because it's I should have gone a layer lower, shouldn't I? Let's undo that. I can get away with that because I've not done any bevels or anything like that yet. So that'll do. Let's try that. See if that feels any more natural. So yeah, once you start doing bevels and that sort of shit, like you can't really escape. You can't just scale stuff around because you end up breaking the bevels. So let's do the same with the door. One thing I'm now realizing is that this makes some of the bricks like extra long. We can deal with that if it's even noticeable. Go F8. Cool. So that's that. Give that its time to start. Come on, start your render. there's that working now. Do we need to go a layer lower on those bricks? I feel like we might have to. Let's go an extra layer lower. Well, that's actually the height the old wall was. Let's get you. Cool. Keep that like that. Let's just line that up better with these. So I'll be using this base wall as like a grouting. Oh, bless me. I made this way too open, didn't I? Let's bring this entire section of wall over here. Oh, I can't because of this. Can I bring this entire brick forward? Would anyone notice? No, a bit too big of a difference though, might it? Yeah, it's too much. Alright, so I need to go half a brick. Is that an acceptable size of a door? I don't know. That should be fine, fuck it. Right, so let's get these selected. So now we're mostly happy with the actual size, the layout and all that stuff, so we can start actually getting UVs on there. So all I'm going to do is go UVs, map 1, I guess. Which one should map 1 be? I mean, I can always copy it. Alright, so let's just go auto, which is all we need for this guy. Mapping, auto map, and we need 6. Of course, it just gave me a cube for all of them, didn't it? Alright, so what we're going to do instead then? Edge mode. It's going to take a while. Actually, I could probably. So, solo you, do that. Let's go mapping. Let's try that again. We might change that to less distortion, see if that helps. Doesn't work on multiple objects selected. Alright, so let's temporarily combine them. So they're combined. Cool. So let's save our scene. Cool. So now let's try auto mapping. Mapping, auto map. There we go, that's more what I expected to see. It feels like they all been rotated though. Layout. No, let's get the UVs selected. Layout UVs. So let's lay out line Y to V, and yeah, it should all be fine. There we go. Is that seriously the way it's going to line these? Oh, they're the tops of the bricks. So how about we set this to horizontal instead? There we go. Look at that masterpiece of UVs. It's not like it's cubes or anything. They've all got a bit. Are they infinitely close to each other? They are. Why are they so close to each other? Shell padding. Way easier than Max. Wait, does Max not have that? Let's go 0.5 pixels. Oh, let's go 1 pixel at 4K. There we go. So it goes without saying these UVs are basically useless. Doing it all in one UDIM like that. Hey Yuri, how you doing, man? But yeah, so these UVs are absolutely useless for like actual texture painting because they're incredible. I mean, technically they're efficient, but they're actually really inefficient. Really, something like this you'd want to do in UDIMs because, you know, if you are going to texture every side of every brick, it's not only is it pointless to do, but it's also meaninglessly heavy. Pointlessly heavy. Fuck it. Pointlessly heavy to do it in one UDIM because that one map would have to be crazy high res to actually see shit. Because each one of these bricks is getting like maybe 50 pixels. So you'd want to lay these out across multiple UDIMs. You actually can do that with the layout tool in there. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. Yeah, UV tiles. So let's go 2 UV tiles. And granted, this is like a best case scenario in terms of model. Like you cannot ask for a better model to UV. It's literally just cubes. So, you know, mileage may vary and all that shit. Probably go 3 UDIMs. I actually don't know what resolution the checker is. That'd be really helpful to know. Oh, no grooming in this part. Yeah, no grooming in this, but I'll be grooming probably in the next one, to be honest. I mean, once I've kind of moved these bricks around, I can probably do a little bit of stuff on one of the pipe creatures. Because I do have a creature coming out of pipe that is literally just some fur with eyes, so I can do the groom before I even model it. But yeah, so let's go layout. Let's give it 3 UDIMs and leave it at that. Cool. So, and then just gonna scale it down slightly. And then I'm gonna have to separate each UDIM. So let's go UV shell. Let's go slightly more. Let's go like that much. You just don't want any to be crossing the borders is all. There we go. Maybe give ourselves a little bit more. More than likely there was a tool to do what I just did, but I didn't know it. There we go. So that's those, all with their own unums, and then we'll create a separate UV set, which is actually usable, where basically we'll just transfer the UVs from the base model, i.e. this guy. So that's our first UV set. Let's create a new one. So that can be map 1, and then we'll create another one, and we'll call it texture UVs. So UV set editor, let's create a new one. This one can be called texture UVs. Map 1 is more utility based, like I can use that to transfer shit and all that sort of stuff. So now let's UV this mesh, which isn't exactly difficult to do. And again, this one will only really be used for grouting. But yeah, so we'll UV this. It's kind of funny to me how bad this model is. Let's just give it a few more loops. I tend to find models with slightly more polygons tend to UV a bit nicer. And we probably should connect all this up, shouldn't we? I know, Yuri, what a shame. Fuck you, Becca. Oh, what did I do here? Alright, so glue that. The topology back here doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to be at least quads. I'll come back for that one. Just get all this shit. There we go. This is the most boring part of this asset, I'm sure. So what is it you guys are up to? I also find it really hard to tell how many people are actually watching, because like YouTube says 2 right now, but I know there's not just 2 of you. So let's get that guy. Almost done. Just got to connect the top to the bottom now. I think that's everything. I've got that guy. Last one, and I can UV this guy. Cool. Complete history. Save a scene. And again, an auto UV will be fine for this because it's basically a cube. I can just clean up the bits that need it. So let's go. Where are you? Mapping. There we go. Cool. So now I can just go around and bits like this one. Let's move and sew that. can move and sew. Well, I guess it'd be better to move and sew that, right? So let's cut that as well. So, oh, wrong thing. Cut. So let's sew these bits. So now just grab all this, unfold, and then lay out. Let's set this guy to 1 unit. And ratios, oh not ratio, sorry. Let's just go align Y to V. And you get all kinds of effects, so let's just rotate that manually. Weirdly inefficient considering how easy these UVs would be to do. So let's go do this. Where is that bit? Oh, that's fine. That can stay. So I don't know what materials different parts of this can be made of yet. I must be like cutting this in half just for the sake of continuity with everything else. So one thing to think about right now is these are the only thing that's actually fucking visible. So maybe let's move everything else out of the way, because all of this is used as grouting basically. So it's probably even worth splitting these out into different models, but we'll find that out later. Let's just make these bigger. So that way, once we've got everything, I don't know what material these are all going to be yet. How close is this to the surface? It's far enough back. Might have to change the size of this model, to be honest. If that's a closed loop, oh, it hits that, okay. Cool. So now I've got that UV'd. What I can now do is grab this guy, and we can transfer the UVs from him. So if I go into the UVs, oh, I'm in UVs here. I can go to the map one. So it is the map one, which is going to be used purely as utility. Like I can use this on noises and that sort of stuff. And then this one will be for actual texture painting if I do any. So what I can do now is, I think it's that, then this, from to, no, to, from to. Modeling, mesh tools, no sorry, edit mesh. Is it mesh? Transfer attributes, there we go. And let's transfer UV set current from world. There we go. So now we've got that, delete the history on that, get this guy, delete history on that. So there's some areas that kind of fucked up, but for the most part, what we end up with is UVs that are now the same as the building. Of course, I could just like project these now, which might be a bit more usable. Let's do that instead. So let's grab, let's go like this. Is there a way to deselect these en masse? So now is when it's easier to do things as separate objects. So let's split these objects back out. So once I've got my UVs set up, I can start kind of nudging them around and doing whatever I need to do, just for the block out. This is going to take a while because there's about 3,000 bricks in there. There we go. Didn't take as long as I expected actually. Cool, so let's just grab all the bricks on the front. Bang. That's the front. I can get the back ones while I'm at it. Cool, so that's them. I'll have to cut the ends off of bricks. Ah, God. It keeps getting more complicated. So let's go. UV set editor. Give that a second to do its thing. The transfer didn't work as well as I hoped. Cool. So now let's just go and map these. Mapping planar map. Let's go with which axis? X-axis. Cool. And then I can grab the inverse of this, so let's just grab all these, delete the history. And then just deselect these ones. Hey Oscar man, how you doing? There we go. Let's just project these UVs. Play on map Z-axis this time. No, not a new project. Still working on the monster thing. Basically, the project's changed direction. So rather than doing this desk thing, we've changed to a more like creature-ridden street. I can explain it at a different point. I'm just a bit preoccupied right now. Let me get the image up. But yeah, so basically, rather than having him on a desk and going for that kind of stuff, I can have like, you know, he's walking through a town and like he's the only human, quote unquote. So we have like these creatures that have hair, kind of like this guy or slightly different, but you know, vaguely the same stuff. Only one creature's actually modeled so far, which is this guy down here, but I need to groom him. And yeah, we're just going to slowly work through the scene. So that's that done. Oh, did I just project these in map 1? Oh, I did. Come on. Undo. I'm just going to set Maya to not use every CPU core because I realize while it's doing all this stuff, it's kind of choking, choking the other programs like OBS and stuff. Right, so that should be far back enough. Cool. So let's go. Cool, so let's go to the other UV set, touch UVs. Cool, now project that. So mapping, plane on map, Z. There we go. So cool. Look at history. Let's view the different UV sets. So map 1 should be each and every single face of each and every single brick separated. Yep, and then text UVs should currently be a bunch of overlapping shit. Cool, so now we just need to give them space next to each other. And then that's our UVs sorted. We can move on to actually doing some modeling. Cool. Move those off to the side. I'm not going to worry too much about where they go. I just want them to be far enough away so I can quickly select stuff. Cool. So now, let's get all this again. Cool. Delete history on it. Save my scene. And combine the objects. And I'm going to make sure that it's set to combine. Combine skinning. It's kind of cool. Merge by name. So now we go back to one object, which is a little bit faster in viewport, just while I'm doing some work. Although we are about to split it back out actually, which is kind of funny to me. But yeah, Anyone have anything you want to talk about? Or any questions they have or anything like that? Has it crashed? There we go. So, combine that. Cool. So now, when I go between UV sets, should be a bit quicker. There we go, it's a lot quicker. So let's just quickly get these UVs laid out, and then I can, don't know what I can do at that point actually. Why does this side fit, but that other side doesn't? How does that work? How does that what? I'm very confused. Okay, so be it. Just scale that down. I could split this by UDIMs as well. Just do 2 UDIMs. UV shell. Have this side in one UDIM, front in another. There we go. So there's map 1, touch UVs. Cool, they're a bit more usable. Cool. So delete the history on that. Alt save. And then let's split them back out, name them, group them, and then we can start actually doing some modeling work on them. Although later on I'll need to merge them again to do the bevel. Because fuck doing the bevel one at a time. So yeah, let's split these back out. So I guess we don't have to name them then. That'd be a massive waste of time. What am I looking for right now? Separate. Sup folks, I'm Oddcar. I'm wondering if we try to actually live the bricks today as well. They just get some general displacement and stuff, not full color and all that jazz. God, it's slow. History. Oh, come on, you fuck. There we go. So, we can now start doing some tweaking. So let's just do one last quick test render to make sure we're happy with the scale of everything. Let's get the lights on. Because we can still fix scale relatively easily. Oh, is it stuck? Oh, I have 0 shading groups. Cool, let's reassign Lambert 1. Cool, kill that. Update full scene. There we go. This little smiley face poking out there. Yeah, I think this is ready for me to start taking chips out of and changing angles of. Because the problem at the moment is that it's too flat, like visually it's too flat. Getting a bit of depth variation and all that sort of stuff will help quite a lot. And also moving them up and down just slightly to kind of jitter it a bit. And then once I've beveled it, that'll be the final step. Also, if you're wondering why I've done all my UVs and stuff before I do something that's like bevel, which changes topology, if you bevel with 2 segments, it actually maintains your UVs. So, is each individual brick geo? Yeah, it is, but it's actually a really quick thing to do. If you want to see how to do it, it's literally the start of the stream. I started doing that. It's a really quick process, surprisingly quick actually. Yeah, so I'm happy with that size. So let's start fucking up the bricks. And let's get reference. This is like the main reference. So primarily what I'm seeing is more of like a general bumpiness. So a lot of that will come from displacement, but there is quite a lot of height variation in terms of like how far some of them are. So we'll kind of keep to that. Just take some chips out of a couple of them, like, you know, take a section out of one, have a line where there's a gap, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to have that on my other screen while I work. We also need to do some subtle size variation. So let's hide these two, center the pivot and all of these, modify center pivot. Cool. And let's get started. This is going to take a while. I could select a few at random. Rotate those slightly. I'll speed up a bit. Like even that starts to get a little bit of variation there, nothing too major. Select the entire section, bump them out. Just get a little bit of like large movement in the wall as well. Forward as well. This is like podcast work. Like, you don't do this without some music going normally. Should I have one brick that's like way too far out? Suggests that something's like really wrong with this section. Is that pointing directly at camera? Oh yeah, lights. It's all out of focus as well, which makes it all the better. But that will start to get a bit of variation in there. Probably assign a new material to these actually. Let's go assign new material. On standard surface. Let's call this brick map. Leave that out of it actually. Let's go something like that. Tilt all these in slightly. I think having this like corner be like ever so slowly kicked in by people walking past. Like people walking out this way, just kind of kicking it as they go. That would shift this guy back and out, I guess. Let's try, how visible is that? No, not visible at all when you have no lights. Should probably get that fixed. A little bit of specular up here. a lot of angle tilt on them. Should be a way to add random transforms, right? Let's search random rotations Maya. Give that a try. So I'm guessing that's Mel. Cool. So let's select so let's grab all the bricks on the side. So which degrees of freedom does this need? We want 0, well maybe like 3 degrees there, like 15 here, and let's say 30 with you. Oh, this isn't random per object though, is it? That's a way too much. Is it not undoable? Oh, are you fucking kidding? Might have to reload the save from this one. I'm gonna run out of undos, aren't I? How far can I get? Jesus. Would it be quicker to load an old save? Come on. I'm not seeing any changes. Oh no, it's still changing. How many fucking undos do I have? Holy shit. Did I say it to infinite? World's shittiest drum roll. I guess it makes sense that it did. As I undo these, I'm starting to realize it actually did do them randomly. It's just like it only did them positively randomly. So how can I give that range then? So close. wear out the Z key. Did I do it? I think I did it. I did do it. Cool. Fuck. Let's save my scene. So, idea. Let's set these all to be more subtle. And the idea comes in with the following. So I've just saved. I'll run that script, which randomizes them all. And then I'll invert these numbers. And do it again. Numbers are still too big, aren't they? Wait, is it? It's not adding it to the current value, is it? Fuck. Alright, I thought I was being clever there. Not undoing. Fuck that, I did it twice. Right, okay. Are there any better scripts? Because that one works. Oh, someone made a better one. Right, so still going. There we go. So let's select all those bricks again. And this time I'm going to use that one. I feel weirdly hungry right now. Cool. So let's get that script editor open again. Alright, so how much rotation do I want? Is that, let's take these to a much more subtle number. So let's go -2 on this one. But let's go +5, -5. And then Z. Which way is Z? Z is that way, so I don't want much of that at all. So I set that to like 1. And random. What's the error that just kicked up? Illegal extension on expression. Which one? What's this? I don't need it to echo it, I just want it to do it. Did I miss a bit of the thing? Okay, let's try that one. I don't know what changed there. But it worked. So let's reopen that scene. It's gonna be slow, isn't it? Alright, that's actually surprisingly quick. Alright, cool. So let's set that to 5, 5, 1, 1, -2. Oh yeah, need to select stuff first. Might have been a little bit intense. Oh yeah, I've got the wrong one. Alright, cool. So let's open that. Please tell me it saves with the selection active. Ah. Close this. It's acting weird. Which one is it? I never remember where to find this. Display options now. Oh. Weird. Cool. So let's just go like that. Cool, so let's try again. This time we're going to do these ones with 5, these ones with 2. And I feel like I should group these. Let's get my camera out of there. Come on. Is it edit and group? Edit and group. There we go. Alright, so it's getting frustrating. Let's try that again. That's a bit more promising. Don't see much, isn't it? It needs to be really subtle. Definitely more subtle than I'm giving it credit for, to be honest. all this as well. So let's set that to 2 and this one to 2 as well. And set these to 1 while we're at it. That looks like it was subtle enough. Yeah, that looks like good. Let's give that a test render. Looks like it might have worked. Yep, cool. I'm gonna keep that. Let's do the same with the front wall and then we're done. Although we have to switch Y and Z, I think. Or X and Z, sorry. Oh, they're the same. Perfect. My camera selected right now? Did that work? Oh, it did. I just selected my camera while I was at it. Alright, cool. So let's check if the move one works. And we'd want these ones to only move in X, right? Yeah, 1's too much. 0.1. Why is my camera even in here anyway? That's actually, no, actually that won't work. Never mind. Let's hold this here for a moment. That is actually, I'll ignore it completely. Let's just do this instead. So I guess let's check how much we're about to move this. So 0.0, like what's 0.01? 0.005 might be good. Oh, 0.05 even. There we go. It's uniformly off though, isn't it? We'll ignore that bit. We'll just go with rotation for now. And I'll move bricks that individually that need moving. Random rotation I can get behind, but random movement seems to be a little bit too chaotic. Cool. So let's do. 'do a relatively clean render of this. So 0.0, like what's 0.01? 0.005 might be good. 0.005 even. 0.005 might be good. 0.005 even. 0.005 might be good. 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 0.005 realise that all of it is hidden behind characters and cry a little bit. Right, so bit displacement work, just to get something on them. Yeah, let's do that. So last thing to do then, let's grab these two, isolate selected. So modify freeze transformations. Cool. And then combine. The reason I'm combining this time is so that I can bevel them all at the same time without wanting to absolutely die. Right, let's check the UVs while we're at it. Let's get the camera out while we're at it as well. Cool, so UVs. Yep, that's all still maintained. So all we're going to do now is go into face mode. And let's close that. And I'm just going to go in and bevel. This is about to get a lot heavier. Normally bevels add like, 20 polygons, 30 polygons. This one's about to add like 15,000. No idea how long this will take. Right, it's done. Perfect time. I have a suspicion everything we're about to do is going to be very slow. So, next thing. Fraction. Well, segments need to go up to 2. Where's my pick? Oh, this really is taking a while. bet for how long this will take to actually do the final bevel. Why you play guitar? Because I'm waiting on this to do its thing. It's gonna be really, really slow. Like I'm talking like 10 minutes probably. Very noodly at the moment on guitar. Come on, it can't be this slow. I've definitely done heavier bevels in this in Houdini and have it take like a minute at most. Is that actually frozen? Test manager. Not responding. I'll give it a minute. Give up. I'm genuinely amazed at how long Maya's taking on this. Like, this is actually insane. Do I let it die? I'm actually impressed. Alright, I'm gonna have to kill it off. End task. No! No fucking way! Okay. So it finished the moment that I killed Maya. Do I go back and do it? Or do I just leave that to a different day and just leave it overnight or some shit? Playing's really rusty today. Scenes. Oh, I can't believe that just happened. So, do I give it another shot? Or do I just leave it? Is there a way to bevel them at render time? Let me search. Arnold bevel at render time. Oh, there's a round corner shader. Okay. So we can just bevel it at render time. Okay, so we can use this. Oh, that's cool. So you can use it as where objects meet. That's really cool, actually. Bit soft on that side, but alright, so let's use that then. Round corners, and we have to plug it into the normals. This is just a normal map. Cool. So let's start assembling a little bit of a shader. Type shade. So it should get brick material. Cool. So let's create, what's the word I'm looking for right now? Round corners. And we plug that into normal camera. Self only. Do you want the trace set to only? I guess we would, right? Let's just give that a go. Let's see how that renders. So, render view. I love this really cool camera thing it's got going. That's not what I want, so let's go back and forth. That's a little bit big. big. Let's try stepping that down. Let's go 0, 5. I'm a bit worried that it's soft. Like obviously we're out of focus, so we can get away with a surprising amount. But if I set radius to 0, let's say, let's go here instead. And then let's step that up to 1. So we get more of a soft edge. So let's go 0.25. Even smaller, let's go 0.1. We should start getting some displacement on these guys. Starting to work. I think round corners works well enough. I don't need to do it in real geo. I'm not sure how round corners will work once I start actually introducing some weirdness to the model. Like when I start cracking some of them and that sort of shit. But it works well enough for now. Cool. Right, so what's the next thing to do? Displacement, I guess. Where is it? Not a displacement. What would be the best noise to work? I can do a regular fractal for a moment. So let's go set range. Well, actually, we need to clamp it first. Clamp. Oh, yeah, clamp. Wherever I can, I'm trying to get into the habit of using like Arnold nodes for stuff. Is that AI remap? AI range maybe. Yeah, that'll do. Cool. So I guess I want that to go to -1. Cool. I have no idea if this will work in the slightest without without subdivisions. I don't know if auto bump will kick in or not. Oh, that's something. Kind of like it in a way. Like it's not what I'm gonna keep in the slightest, but it has an interesting feel to it. Let's say that's a much lower value. Oh, Rebecca's not in the same room anymore. Oh yeah, you're back into the streams. Okay, so I've moved to Belfast. I actually yeah, I live in Northern Ireland now rather than London. So me and Becca aren't in the same room right now. She's downstairs at the moment. Do they actually have detail on them right now? Let me. Is there an override to turn off depth of field diagnostics? Ignore depth of field. Yeah, it's actually doing it. So let's actually get that to do what I want then. So let's go with starting off a much lower. Or should we replace that with an AI fractal? Oh, AI noise. So octaves. So if I remap that, let's just see what this does first. Yeah, so let's try doing a remap HSV on that. So let's set that to be UV space and scale. I guess has to go way higher. So let's set that to 10, 10, 10. Or does that have to go the opposite way? No, I think that's the right way. Alright, cool. So let's go 30, 30, 30. I mean, I'd pronounce your name Wannaburger, as in I want a burger. I'm guessing that annoys you. Let's change that map. So we need to set that AI range to be so how's this round corners work then? Set that to, yeah, it's too soft. Way too soft. I wonder if there's a way to harden that. And that's about the size of the bevel I'd do. Feels weird here though, which is a bit of an issue. So we got our damage. So let's add a AI layer RGBA. Although we could do a layer float, fuck it. Layer float. So this one will be our input 1. Cool. And this one can be damage. And this one can be surface breakup. So what happens if I just move that just move that up? Does it get rid of the one below it? It does. Okay. How do I change blend modes? So I don't just want to set a mix to a low number and then increase that every time. So let's not use that. Let's do layer RGBA. So that one actually gives options. So let's do that instead. Cool. So set this one to add. Or is it set to plus? Plus. So the nice thing with plus operations is they can subtract as well. So all you have to do is do an AI range and then put that guy in there. And then rather than doing 0 to 1, we can do -1 to 1. Because when you add a negative number, it's the same as subtracting it. Like there's no special treatment there. So that works. So then let's just set that mix to a lower number. Let's go 0.4. That's working. I still feel a bit too flat. I feel like I actually need to get it working in displacement. I also need to make this a little bit more subtle. Let's go 4. Looks like it's working relatively well. There's too much damage. I feel like I should change the amount. So let's go 20, 20, 20. Yeah, it's feeling a lot better now. I think maybe added a bit too much variation. If you happen to find yourself jamming on a guitar sometime, send me an audio file, please. Some Eminem. Yeah, I'm glad you noticed the Eminem. Yeah, sure. I can. Maybe we can probably call at some point, man. Yeah, I'll let you know if I ever record anything. I'll send it through. Oh, sweet rappers. Cool. Right, I'm gonna get that back into depth field, and we're gonna add the character just to see how that's going. Reflection. In fact, let's fix the reflection first. So let's pick an area like this. Yeah, I'm completely not focusing on the guitar at the moment. Playing's a little bit sloppy. But yeah, thanks. And likewise, man. Stay healthy. Enjoy the rest of your night, mate. Let's increase that a bit. IOR, let's go down. That's a bit better. It's just not as shiny now, because it was getting a bit too reflective. Oh, what's that though? That's the wall coming through, isn't it? Cool. So let's get that. Not what I wanted. Let's unhide everything. And alt save. I'm going to leave that rendering for a moment. download. Now what I'm worried about is if the bricks have added too much high frequency breakup in the background. I'm unsure. Do you guys have any opinions? Anything we should look into? Because obviously there's quite a lot to do still. Like we still have to do the road, the pavement, any kind of grass, all the creatures, the wood, obviously texturing all this as well. So I'm just like, is it too early to worry about how high frequency the bricks feel? I don't know. Let's just straight up compare it to the last one. So let's get that as big as I can get it in that little zone. And then I think I've got it open there. Is it the value of the bricks that's kind of throwing me off right now? It might be the value. Because they're pretty much the same value as the wood that's on the windows, which kind of mixes it up in my head. I just need to figure out what's the next thing I'm gonna do. Yeah, I think it's fine. I just need to break it up. This corner's throwing me off for some reason. I don't know if it's because it's just like such a tiny little slice of brickwork. So maybe we'll need something up there to kind of mix that up a bit. Hello, friend. Actually, kind of, as time's gone on, he's growing on me a bit. Because I wasn't too sure on him at the end of the last stream on Thursday, I think. Whereas this time, I'm kind of okay with him at this point. We need to do a grout shader on the wall, don't we? So let's get that sorted quickly. So those groups are that. Oh yeah, let's okay, so hide groom, hide box, monster, kid, and channel box. So you need the material assigned. Modify center pivot, modify free transformations, alt save. Bomb. Cool, right, so let's get material on this guy. Where are you at? I always wonder what the utility node is. So let's call this material grout, brick, grout, mat. Cool. This one's going to be pretty dark. And other than that, don't want any reflection because it's a pretty simple material. Let's just get a high frequency displacement on there. So first off, because we want this one to actually displace, let's go 4 subdivisions, and displacement is fine. Set, no, AI, no, AI range. So that to -1, and let's just do a fractal. Oh, I need to clamp it. I keep forgetting to clamp shit. AI clamp. I need to research what that AI clip geo was because that sounds like it's a really cool thing. Right, let's quickly check that. Clip. What are you? Real-time Boolean? Anyway. Leave that to do its thing for a moment. just a little bit much. Why do I love it? Why do I love this? That's so cool. I'm saving that render. That's legitimately really fucking cool. I don't know why. Desktop. Let's just say grout. I'll rename the file later. That's so cool. So let's set scale to 0.1. That's too little of a change, but we'll see in a second. So let's go even littler, even smaller if I want to say it correctly. Oh, I need to turn off the depth of field as well. So let's go a little bit bigger than that. Let's go to, and then frequency, we're going to need to massively increase this boy. So let's go 4, 4. So these little things happening here. So you might look at that and be like, oh, what the fuck is that? That's basically where the map, because we've got this clamp, the map is going above a value of 1. Although I could fix that by removing this clamp, but I don't like removing the clamp because that means that AI range is inaccurate. So what you can do instead is just set amplitude to a low number. I tend to say it's like 0.5. It's just better, really. You don't get those clipping artifacts in the same way. Let's set that to 20. Oh, that didn't update. What I'm struggling to figure out now is that a resolution issue? Let's try setting this to like 6, which is overkill, completely overkill. We can always model like bits of grout coming out if we need to, but it was a poly count issue. If it's all real scale, actually I can't remember because that kind of changed recently. I'm not entirely sure if it is real scale anymore, to be honest. So that's 7. So it was down to like miniature scale in the previous one. Obviously this no longer is miniature in terms of the way I'm doing this model. So not entirely sure anymore. It's starting to get something now. So let's unhide the bricks. Cool. So now we just need to step down the disp until we stop getting it passing through the bricks like that. So let's go 1. There we go. So now it's just visible between the bricks, like that. I'm okay with it being on top in some areas. We need to get that colour corrected though. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to fix it up there, aren't we? For now that can wait though. So let's get that colour like way up. And then let's immediately hide all that by turning depth of field back on. And then unhide the groom and these guys too. And this will probably be the last render I do on the stream. I should probably look at some miniature bricks actually to see how they handle it. Let's look at Paranorman. While that renders in the background. Do we have any images of bricks? Oh, that floor is kind of cool. So I'm not like necessarily gunning for it to feel miniature anymore, but it'd be cool if it felt consistent, I guess. This is going to be really obscure Google. Someone made a fan art of him. Oh, yeah, it's not too bad. Probably quite early on in learning. It's really nice. Is that bricks? Oh, that's bricks. Okay, so they do it in a really different way from what I'm doing. here we go. Gold mine. Okay, so they just have like more size variation per brick. And the random colours, which we'll be doing anyway. I love that so much. Cool. Yeah, it's moving along. I feel like this is okay. I have no idea what this is. Oh, I know what that is. You're not smoothing correctly, are you? Fuck you. There we go. Nowhere else where that's an issue, right? Oh, you. Such beautiful topology. No issues at all. Start the render again. I'll leave that doing its thing. Sort of music where you have to really commit to it to actually play it properly. But I don't really want to commit to playing properly on microphone because it's really cringy. Why do I recognize that? Bum, 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 bum. I wonder if there's a way to assign Arnold subdivision to multiple objects at the same time, or if there's a way to do it by material. Arnold subdivision per material? Question mark. be really cool if you could do it in the actual shader rather than per object. I'm sure there has to be a way to do that, right? Right. I guess I'm going to call the stream off there because there's nothing I'm really going to achieve in the next half hour. I'm feeling a bit too fidgety, hence why I'm playing guitar. Feeling a bit too fidgety to really get anything proper done. In the next stream we can probably do a bit of creature work because we've done our environment work. We've got some environment work done, like blocked out. In terms of stuff to do kind of going forward, obviously we've got to do the path. We've still got to figure out kind of what's going on behind the fence. Like, do we want that going onto a garden and therefore a bit of grass, or do we not want that? We need to do the road as well, which I'm doing something like that, I hope. Path, something like this perhaps, or something like this. Probably more like this one. This one's really cool. So I do something like that. But the road is going to be something along the lines of these ones. I think probably more towards the line of this. It's a little bit neater than that one. So we'll get that done. That's really weirdly exposed. So that shirt feels out of place. But yeah, we'll do those, and obviously bricks will slowly but surely move towards something more like this. But yeah, it'll take some time, but we'll get there eventually. We're already at like part, what, 29 in this series? So it's already longer than the other series minus FK Twigs. But yeah, so I feel like we've made some decent progress. It's not like night and day, but it is there. It's something. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. If not, I'll end the stream in about 5 minutes. It's really hard to play when you're not focusing. To is in May. I have to pay for an update to Maya, which is going to cost like what, 1,300 quid, 1,200 quid. Cool. Well, chat's pretty silent, so I'm going to end the stream here. I'll be back again on Thursday. We'll do a bit of creature work on that one. Hopefully it won't be as boring of a stream. I'll actually have stuff to do rather between the renders. But yeah, so I'll see you guys on Thursday, hopefully. Hopefully the playing in the background hasn't been too annoying. But yeah, cool. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Bye-bye.